Sorry for leaving you guys on a cliffhanger. I coughed and fit, and I just think I needed to rest my voice because it's just not 100% yet. But I wanted to finish because, oh my God, I left y'all on a terrible cliffhanger in the middle of one of the most important conversations in the entire book. So, so Elvis calls her like a little before, like around the middle of August. And Lisa's she's there. She's been there for a summer break. And he's getting ready to leave to go on a concert tour in a couple of days, going up to Maine. So he calls her, and let's see. Let's start. Let's go back a little bit and just kind of start a little bit here. She asked him, "Are you at Graceland?" "Yeah, Lisa's here with me and until I leave the 16th. "Leave for where?" "Another tour." "Oh, Elvis, another one?" Sorry, I mute that. Sorry about that. "Oh, Elvis, another one?" "It wasn't my idea. I don't want to think about it. I just want to spend some time with my daughter." In fact, he calls Priscilla to ask her. She has to start school. So, it's the middle of August, and we typically started school the middle to end of August back in the day, in the 60s. She's 9 years old, and so he calls Priscilla to ask, and she says no. And Lisa asks, "Daddy, can I stay a little longer?" He said, "Well, I'll call your mom and ask." And he calls her, she says no. And when he goes back to tell Lisa, she says it in her book, he cries when he tells her that he has to send her back. So he really wanted her to stay with him. He would have been a much better parent than she was, for sure. Even with all his touring, he could have gotten a nanny, and then he could have had her whenever he wanted touring. But he was just touring so freaking much because daggone Priscilla, a money-hungry woman, was just wringing him dry. It wasn't my idea. I don't want to think about it. I just want to spend some time with my daughter. I wish I knew her. I do love her. It's strange, but I feel a bond. I only wish I felt better and this was over. Talking about all this touring. He just wants it to be done. I've had some rough times, but the shows are okay. The fans are still with me, Lucy, even with my weight. I have to get it off. I've got to do it when this is over, when I can rest. It's been such a hard tour. I wonder if he just didn't have anything else lined up after this tour and he was going to get a break. I don't know. What about you? How have you been? I've been so upset since the accident, and I was worried about you. Are you really all right? Tell me exactly how you feel. I want to hear it from you. Lucy, it's that book. It's getting to me. I'm afraid it's going to hurt the people I love, like Lisa and my family and you. Will you turn against me? This is a tell-all book. Apparently, it's going to have things that happened that aren't supposed to happen, or that aren't supposed to be told. Like when in Vegas, we don't talk about what happens in Vegas or whatever that word is. So there's probably some things that have happened when he's been with the guys. And, maybe not even recent, just over all the years. He's real nervous about it. And he's afraid it's going to turn all of his fans against him. No one's going to love him anymore. He's going to lose it all. Maybe that would have been okay. It might have been okay. Because he needs a break. Elvis, that's so ridiculous. I'm on your side. I'm concerned about you and all the rumors. Are they true? I want the answers from you. And by the way, are you going to marry this girl? Do you love her? If you are happy with her, then best wishes. That's all I want to tell you. The other things are trash, I know. Lucy, darling, listen. There's been too much distance. I'm sick of all this. Are you ready to face it and blow their minds? I've taken some steps already. I want you. Ginger is a girl that George brought in. I even agreed to an engagement when I was trying to hurt you. I thought you were through with me. But we've got to understand one another and not let anybody come between us. Yeah, they need to get on the same page. Come on, Lucy. Come on, Elvis. Y'all need to get on the same page. Elvis's voice turned soft and low. I'm sorry I hurt you, baby. Please believe me. And he did not apologize a whole lot, especially not in front of the guys, but he would to girlfriends. So he's very sincere about this. I'm sorry I hurt you, baby. Please believe me. It's just been so many years and so much stuff. That was difficult to accept. Were others really dictating his every move, right down to who his girlfriend would be and when they would marry? Could the same marital nightmare that all but destroyed both our lives be happening again? It couldn't be. Elvis, she's pretty. I know she's been with you. Is she there now? She's someplace around here with her whole damn family. I think I told y'all earlier. I think I read this already. She would always bring her sisters. She was always wanting her sisters and sometimes her mom to come over. But Rosemary, her sister Rosemary, was very funny. So Rosemary came a lot. Terry, Miss Tennessee, had a lot of Miss Tennessee commitments and couldn't be there that often. But her mom would come a lot too. Oh, Elle, please. The only important thing is for you to know the truth. I told Daddy and Uncle Vester this marriage was never going to be. She wants to announce the wedding date. It won't ever be. There will be no such thing. Do you believe me? He was pleading. I had no alternative but to agree. Let me talk about us, honey. Do you need some cash? No, Elvis. The insurance took care of my daughter's bills. I wish you would cancel this tour and go away for a treatment. I'll go with you. I just want you to get well. What about your doctor? Doesn't he know or care about you? He should be concerned. Something's not right. Baby, you can't imagine the plans I have. All this will pass. I've already started. I'm firing the guys. When I finish this tour, I'll rest. Then you're coming to Graceland. We'll get married like we should have a long time ago. What do you think of that? That would be wonderful. No more excuses from either of us. He became excited. Why don't you come here? Yeah, come here. Do you know what? We'll start my book. We'll answer those guys. Will you help me? I'd love to. Despite the glowing picture he painted, I remained uneasy. He didn't sound well. Elle, I want to see you soon, and I want you to take it easy. Is your father going on the trip with you? Yeah, he's been sick too, you know. It will do him good. I hope your little daughter gets well. What's her name? You never did tell me. I went numb. I couldn't dodge it any longer. Elvis, she's not a little girl. She's 18, and her name is Desiree. It was his turn to be caught off guard. Neither of us made a sound. It was a silence that screamed for an explanation. I didn't realize she was such a big girl, he finally said. Honey, why do you name her Desiree? Is there something you're not telling me? I steeled myself to answer, speaked in a low, unnatural monotone that gave me away with every word. It's because you like the name. Thank you for caring. There's so much I have to tell you. Honey, why are you acting so strange? Is there something wrong? Lucy, tell me, is there something wrong? I retreated deeper into my monotone. I couldn't let my emotions betray me. I had to tell him, but not over the phone. No, it's nothing. I was just thinking of everything and wondering if I would see you soon. There's something I have to discuss with you. Regardless of what decision you make about your girlfriend. I told you my decision, and it stands. I don't want any other woman. And if I give her money, she'll gladly go. Everything is a mistake. I thought you didn't care. Tell me who you love. Please, tell me you love me. Please, I need to hear it. Maybe that girl loves you. Have you asked her? Look, I know she's not interested. I'm not interested. Do you hear? I asked you a question. Do you love me? He wanted more than a mere yes. He needed me to sweet-talk him as I had so many times before. He used to tell me my voice could snap him from the deepest depression. You crazy man. You know I love you, Elvis Presley. I've loved you since you were 18, 1,000 years ago. I thought that my knight in shining armor had passed me by. Then you came into my life and chased the dragons away. You captured my heart, and it's been yours ever since. I watched you grow and change and exceed your wildest ambitions. I loved you through it all, Elle, and I love you still, with all my heart. And when you grow old, I'll be at your side if you want me. I'll always make you feel like a young man. But we don't need to talk about that now. You're still a young man. The same young man that turned me into a woman. I hold all our memories sealed forever in the most exalted place in my mind. When I'm alone and I need you, I bring out the key and unlock the door. They tumble out and dance upon my heart, filling my whole body with joy. But sometimes, Elle, even that isn't enough. Sometimes I need you. This is one of those times. I need you. I've longed for you for 2 years. Baby, I want you here, he said, his voice choking with emotion. I want what I want, and I want it now. No one has ever made me feel the way you do. 25 years have gone by, and no one ever equaled you, even over the phone. I could conquer the world knowing I'm loved by you. When I return, we'll be together, out in the open. I promise. I promise you, Lucy, this time is it. You know, Lucy, you loved me without any conditions. I've seen so much. I've done so much. And yet you remain special to me. You're the only one who never changed. Everybody else changed. Everybody. That's why I know you care. That's why I love you. And now I really need you. I need you. He was crying. It was a desperate cry, and it broke my heart. I fought to stay strong. He needed my strength right now, not my tears. That was so beautiful, Elvis. I know you care. I've always known. I understand. Don't feel bad about the past. It's over. Let's look ahead. Promise me you will take care of yourself. Do it for me. If you want to show me you care, care for yourself. I love you. You should never, ever doubt that. You know how much I care. I'll love you and care for you forever. I was crying, but tried not to let on. Honey, you can change your life, he said. I don't want you in that unhappiness any longer. I want you with me. I want you to be my wife. Will you do that? I will, Elvis. I've planned on leaving for a long time. I do want to be with you, and we will. I won't make any more excuses. We'll do whatever you want. We'll get your weight down, and break your dependency. We'll get you healthy again. My darling, we'll plan it all when you return. I'm ready to leave everything and go to you. And there is something so wonderful I have to tell you. A wonderful surprise, but only when I see you, okay? You'll be so proud. Despite my tears, I was overjoyed. I knew I could finally tell him about Desiree. I would tell him the very next time we were together. No, better, I'd show him. I'd bring Desiree to Graceland with me. Is it a good surprise? Elvis asked. Why don't you just tell me now? I can't wait that long. You have to, mister, I teased. It concerns both of us, and it's very special. You'll be so surprised. It's nothing you can think of, so don't try. Will I hear from you before you leave? I'm leaving the 16th. I'll call you the afternoon. Will you be there? Yes, waiting by the phone. Just remember that I'm always with you. No matter where you go, I'm with you. And if you pray to God, anything is possible. God will guide us. You know what? Elvis asked. I can see life so clearly now. I know what's important. God has given me great insight. I have so many things I want you to read. You know, you've helped me a lot over my life. You've helped me. You'll never know why there are so many people out there trying to hurt others, he said, his voice wavering. But you, I know you love me. I know all the gossip is hurting you. I never wanted that. That's why I hate those magazines, because they make up all those stories. I've never told you a lie, Lucy. He was crying again, being double-crossed by his friends and sliced open before the world was punishing him more than I imagined. Elvis, don't hurt yourself. Being betrayed is a horrible, horrible thing. I'm sorry. I hate everyone who hurts you. My Desiree, you. He stopped abruptly. There was a quizzical silence on the line. Then I heard him laughing. Aha! Well, I'll be darned. What is it? I asked. Nothing, Elvis answered. His mood instantly brightened. We'll talk about that when I see you, but I'm not letting you off the hook this time because I think I know. Damn, Lucy, I hope it's true. I couldn't say anything. I was glad he was giving me more time. I miss you, he said. We both hung onto the receivers, each unwilling to hang up, even though the conversation was coming to an end. Holding on to the phone was like holding on to each other. Honey, will you pray with me? He asked. I'm here. His voice dropped another octave. It was raspy and slightly slurred. It hurt me so much to hear it. Oh, God, Elvis began. You know us better than anyone. Soften our hearts and help us release any feeling of bitterness toward our fellow man. Fill our hearts with love for one another and heal us from within, dear Lord. Forgive those with anger in their hearts. Amen. God bless you, Elle. Please be well. I will, honey, but I'm really overweight. Do you love me anyway? You silly man. I love you, not because of any way you look, simply because I love you. Whatever you feel, I feel. So remember that, mon chéri, and don't worry, you'll never have time to eat. I have plans, so think about what I said. Food for thought. Elvis chuckled. It built into a robust laugh. He laughed so hard, I thought he would drop the phone. What's so funny? Don't you believe me? Yes, yes, honey, I do believe you, he said through the laughter. Do you know what? He asked. I've just discovered the secret of dieting. What? You don't know what I'm talking about. He started laughing again. You always make me so happy, and we haven't been together very much. Just think how happy I'll be when we're together all the time. Someone who truly loves me and gives me honest affection. Honey, we're alive. Remember our signal? How I feel your hand when we touch? When we put our hands together? I love to rub my face against yours. Those little things have meant so much to me. I need to hold you, my Desiree. I need you. His voice was faltering again. He was yo-yoing from laughter to tears with disquieting speed. I fought to concentrate on the meaning of his words instead of being overwhelmed by his tones and severely bouncing emotions. At times, I need your touch, just to feel your love. He continued, barely whispering now. I need that so much. I could sense his weariness through the phone. I'm so lonely for you, too, mon amour. I need you so much. So much. My arms are empty. I just wish you were here so I could hold you. I'm hollow without you. My Desiree, he said. My Desiree. My two Desirees. In a few weeks, we'll have a whole new beginning. Everything will change. You'll see. I'm coming to get you, and I'll never let you go. I should have done this 25 years ago. Oh, why did I wait? Why was I so stupid? All those around me, I don't care what they think anymore. They don't care about me. This will be a short tour. I'll be back in no time. Then we will be together. I promise. I'll be here waiting. Darling, do you feel well? I asked. You're not in pain, are you? It's so hard not being with you. I really don't know if you're telling me the truth. I'll be all right. I need to walk more. I get stiff sometimes. But I'll get back in shape after this tour. You wait. He said, suddenly recharged. I have something to shoot for now. You and me at Graceland. The way it was meant to be. And I'll get well. The old Elvis is coming back. I know you will. It won't be long, honey, he said. You waited 25 years. How long can 2 weeks be? An eternity when I'm waiting for you. But I'll survive. I've got to go, baby. Thanks for giving me something to live for again. Thanks for giving me hope. I'll talk to you soon. Just remember to take care of yourself. Take it easy if you can. Trust me, please. Nothing's going to happen. I'll call you before I leave. Never doubt me, Lucy. I love you. It's important that you know that now. Honey, when I see you, I want to place your ring on your finger. Did you find it? No, not that one. I don't know what happened to it. I'll have another one, bigger and more beautiful than the other. The kind of ring I should have given you long ago. I love you, Elle. Take care. Waiting will be so much easier now. Remember, you and I have some very important things to discuss. Are you sure you don't have something to tell me now? This might be your last chance, he teased. Elle, you're a rascal. Right now, I do want to tell you something. My heart is filled with so much love, it's about to burst. Baby, it's going to be great. We'll throw all the bums out. Clean house. I'll call you before I leave. Take care, Elvis. And they hang up. Wow. He says, my Desiree, my Desiree, my two Desirees. Do you think he figured it out? Do you think he figured it out? I was elated. At the beginning of the conversation, I thought Elvis was buried so deep he would never dig out. It's amazing how talking to her really brings him up. Because he knew he could be honest with her. He knew that she really, truly loved him for him. No matter how fat he had gotten, no matter how depressed he was, how bloated he looked. If he got broke, didn't have the money, he wanted a clean house and just leave it with her and him. Minnie Mae could stay there, and Delta could stay there, and probably the maids could stay there, and the groundskeepers. But all the other people, gone. And his daddy. You know, Elvis talked about, I'm going to say this now because what's about to happen. It was, probably around August 14th when he talked to her. She said the middle of August. And he said, in a few days, I have to leave. So in a few days, he's supposed to leave on the 16th. But Elvis told his cousin Billy, and he also told his spiritual advisor, Larry. And he also told the bass singer, J.D. Sumner, in the Stamps, that when he got back, it's like it finally dawned on him that he realized he needed to stop what he was doing, that it was really killing him. It was so unhealthy. And he needed to get cleaned up off the drugs. Only take what he needed. Because I don't know so much if he was addicted or just abusing them. Because he had access to them and he hurt. He would take more than he needed. And he didn't want to hurt, so he'd just keep taking more. And when he was touring, he would take even more because he didn't want to feel anything, and he wanted to be that Elvis that everyone's remembered from, the late 60s or even the late 50s I mean, he wasn't that guy anymore, but he just wanted to be. He wanted to feel good and be able to entertain. That's all he wanted to ever do, is entertain and make people happy. Use his voice that God gave him and entertain and make people happy. That was his goal. And if he made people happy and made money with that, he could take care of his mom and dad and buy them a house and some cars, pay for food and health care, and have a family, and he would have been content. But things just went wonky. God had another plan. But I think he got detoured. He got detoured quite a few times on God's plan. So if he had stayed on God's plan, I don't know really who he would have been with, how life would have turned out. It could have been different, but it is what it is. And he got access to drugs, and get off of them, he would need help, because maybe he wasn't 100% addicted, but he couldn't just not take them. He was going to have to be weaned off them. And what he wanted to do, so what he told these 3 people was, after this tour, he was going to take, and it was a 2-week tour up in the Northeast. He was going to Maine, and he was going to be all up in there. And he was going to end up in, I think he was going down to Biloxi, because June talks about it in her book that she had bought tickets to take her daughter. She was going to go see him in September. So it was going to be a tour of August and into the beginning of September. But it never happened. So anyway, what he was going to do after this tour, he was going to take a year off. He was going to fire the colonel. How many times did he say he was going to fire the colonel? So many times he said he was going to get rid of people, but he didn't. It was just too hard for him to let people go and to adapt to the change. He had to really be hitting rock bottom. And I think he had hit it. And he was going to take a year off, get rid of everybody, so he wouldn't have to pay paychecks. He was going to go to Hawaii, where he felt very energized in Hawaii. And he was going to take Larry with him, who had all the books, the spiritual books. He could talk, his spiritual side of him could talk to Larry. So he wanted Larry there. He wanted Billy and his wife there. And I think he was going to take June. Not June. It sounds like he was going to take Lucy with him. Now that he's talked to her, maybe he was hoping, but he hadn't really talked to her a whole lot. But now, after this conversation, he's probably going to take Lucy with him. But he was going to go there, take a year off, get weaned off the drugs, anything, and see what it was he really needed. Maybe even get into some natural things. And then when he came back, he wanted to do a spiritual tour, a gospel tour with the Stamps. That was one thing he wanted to do, was do that. And then probably his production company, he wanted to do a karate movie. He already had it written up and had tried to get it going, but things just kind of halted. He just had too much going on. Racquetball, he was into some stuff with racquetball. People were trying to use his name and taking advantage of him. And he was kind of upset with that. That was all going on right now, too. He really didn't talk about that with Ginger, but he talks about it with other people. But he just wanted to get cleaned up. So that's what he's talking about. And so when he came, and then he was going to have Lucy with him, and that's what he wanted. And wouldn't that have been cool? He could have met Desiree, and so Desiree would have gone, and he could have, I don't know what he would have done with Priscilla. But she was going to have to stop digging in for money. And then maybe without him doing the touring and everything, he could have had Lisa with him a lot more. So they could have rewritten that clause in their divorce. But, so that's, he has a lot in his mind. What could have been, should have been. I was elated. At the beginning of the conversation, I thought Elvis was buried so deep he would never dig out. Then, miraculously, he summoned up the old spirit. It's because Lucy was feeding him with energy. She was good for him. I honestly felt he had turned the corner. He would overcome his problems with drugs and depression. He would jump out of the darkness and, in typical fashion, decked in a spangled outfit, jet black hair cascading over his forehead and knifing through the high, proud collar, flashing that paralyzing smile, bounding with vigor and brimming with blinding charisma. He would make it back, all the way back, and maybe, just maybe, I would be part of it this time. I didn't want to live at Graceland, but I wouldn't raise a fuss for a while. Once there, I would present him with the most phenomenal gift he would ever receive, a beautiful daughter on the brink of womanhood. We would bond into a loving family. Elvis could use it as a springboard to complete the sensational comeback. I would finally have the life I should have had. Desiree would know her father. And now she's got dreams. Dreaming. The next few days raced by. I put my mind on automatic to set in another fashion promotion. I devoted the bulk of my attention to plotting my getaway. I would demand that Jack grant me a divorce. It shouldn't be hard. Ours was a marriage in name only. The children were older. They'd understand. And what if they didn't? It was about time I lived for myself. Everything was coming together. The timing was right. Elvis needed me now. He truly loved me. I was sure of it. August was steamy hot in Dallas, as usual, but I refused to wilt. My joy was contagious. Even those around me could sense the dramatic change. "You're really happy," Alex Blakely said, passing by my desk at the office. "What's this all about?" I leaped up and hugged him. "I'm changing my life." "That's the best news I've heard in a long while. It's about time." On Saturday, August 13th, I sang the national anthem before a crowd of 2,000 at the Foreign Visitors Committee social at the World Trade Center in Dallas. Afterward, my friends were amazed by my spirit and rushed up to learn the secret. I begged off, smiling and allowing that things were going well. On August 15th, an associate called and said an unexpected emergency prevented her from presiding over the fashion and jewelry show I had arranged for American Airlines employees the following day. I called a half dozen people to replace her, but no one was able to free their schedule on such short notice. I was stuck with doing it myself. I decided to attend the morning session, make sure everything was going smoothly, then dash home in the afternoon to await Elvis's call. Remember, he told her he was going to call her that afternoon before he left. So this is August 15th. So she's going to work on August 16th in the morning at this fashion show and rush home to wait for his call. I got up at dawn to oversee the setup of the show. My youngest child, Jacqueline, 11, tagged along and provided company. The show went without a hitch. I was confident I'd be able to escape as planned. Around 3 p.m., I became dizzy and lost my balance. Phew. I sat down and waited for it to pass. When it did, a few minutes later, I brushed it off as stress from rushing to put on the show. It was a good excuse to leave. Driving home, I worried about missing the call because she had sat down and took too much time. Now she's afraid she's missed the call. The phone was ringing when I got to the front door. I fumbled with the keys to unlock it, then ran to grab the receiver. It was Desiree. "Mom, you're home early. How are you feeling?" Her voice was strange, much too soft and gentle. It chilled me. I knew something was wrong. "I'm okay. Why?" "Did you hear?" I said nothing. My body stiffened. "Elvis Presley died." For an instant, the desire to keep my secret held back the grief. I couldn't scream out. not with Desiree on the phone. A lifetime crushing the lid down on my emotions helped me through the next few seconds. A thought came. It's just a test. Desiree made it up. How could she be so cruel? That's it. Just a scheme to get me to confess. A figure approached from the side. Did you hear? Jack asked. He's dead. The combination nearly destroyed me. There was no reason to hide my rage from him. I slammed down the receiver, then faced him. Leave me alone, I screamed, scorching my throat. My goodness. Leave me alone. I shouted it over and over. He retreated to his side of the house. And then we got some research with the author. I was at the law firm where I worked as a paralegal, Desiree says. A friend at the office came over, very solemn, and said, Have you heard? I had confided in her about my suspicions about my suspicions that he was her dad. And we had discussed it a number of times. My friend told me very gently that Elvis had died. I couldn't believe it. Are you sure? She was. By that time, it was on the news. It's hard to explain how I felt. I didn't know him. I didn't even know for sure if he was my father. The first thing I thought about was Mother. This would kill her. I had to call. When I told her, she said, Oh my God, in the most horrible voice I've ever heard. Then she hung up. She just hung up. I started crying. I tried to call back, but there was no answer. I didn't see Mother or hear from her for days. She just disappeared. I didn't know what to do or how to feel. When I heard my mother's voice for that instant, I knew Elvis was my father. But then the doubts returned. I could never be sure until I heard it from my mother's lips. I stood in the living room holding my arms. We're back to Lucy. I stood in the living room holding my arms outstretched over my head, gripping my fists so tightly my nails dug into my palms. I made a few jerking starts and wandered around in circles. Through the blur of tears, I caught a glimpse of my handbags on the couch. I grabbed it and ran out of the house. The summer heat was suffocating and made me nauseated. It's August 16th. We know what that's like. I leaned on the house to catch my breath. Recovering, I ran to the car, opened the door, and struggled to get the key into the ignition. I was crying so hard I could barely see. I backed out and headed toward the city. Looking down, my eyes focused on the radio. I reached over to it and switched it on, then froze. No, I don't want to hear it. I turned the car away from the city to where there was grass and trees. The greening of the scenery had a soothing effect. Scenes from my life with Elvis played from all corners of my mind, but even that turned harrowing. The scenes began fighting for my full attention, blocking out my view of the road. The good images were replaced by a surrealistic vision of Elvis's swollen, agonized face pressed up against the phone during our last conversation. I visualized him telling me all the things I'd only heard him say before. I saw him cry as he expressed his sorrow, then laugh at my unintentional play on words. This was it. It had finally snapped. With Elvis's help, I had survived a lifetime of pain, both physical and emotional. Now he was gone. I didn't think I could survive anymore. I didn't want to survive. No, I screamed. I won't give in. The spurt of emotion rocked me back to reality. I channeled my thoughts into the natural grief that had to be vented to keep me from losing my mind. Why, God, why am I being punished? We were so close to making it this time. So close. Why? My only sin was love, was loving him. Now you took him away. You've taken him from me. I'll never hear his voice again, never feel him near me again. I was going to help him. I was going to help bring him back. He would have come back. He would have made it. Why didn't you give me a chance? Why? It wasn't his fault. He was kind and it made him weak. You gave him that kindness. It's not fair. He's gone, I screamed. He's gone forever. Blinded by anguish and pain, I nearly blacked out. I managed to pull over at the edge of a service station. I had no idea where I was. Everything around me was unfamiliar, but that wasn't important. Directly in front of me stood a phone booth, a direct line into Graceland. I wanted to speak to Vernon Presley. I had to find out firsthand. It wasn't time. They made a mistake, I mumbled to myself, digging in my purse for change and my address book. It couldn't be. I won't let it be. I misdialed the first 2 times. My hands were trembling so badly, I considered abandoning the effort. I took a deep breath to calm myself and fight off the frustration, then dialed again. By some miracle, I got through. Mr. Presley is unable to come to the phone. The woman's voice was tense. My mind jumped on a thought. Maybe they meant it was his father who had died. Maybe it wasn't Elvis. Is it true about Elvis? I asked, forcing out the horrible words. The woman on the phone started crying. Yes, he's dead. I dropped the phone. I slammed it into the glass and dangled it by its cord. The unwanted response set off another wave of hysteria. Why did it happen? How? What happened? Oh, my darling, how did you die? I climbed back into the car and drove east until I got my bearings. I then steered toward a quiet wooded area where I could be alone. I kicked off my shoes to feel the grass under my feet and make sure I was still whole. I walked for hours, reliving all the glorious moments I'd spent with him. This will be a nice place to die, I thought. I don't want to live anymore. I have nothing to live for. I turned to another guiding force in my life, one that I could no longer understand. This is Lucy, God, sensible, conservative Lucy, the one who is unwilling to take a chance, the one who couldn't risk hurting anyone by doing what I wanted, the one who played by the rules. I'm back under control. No more screaming. You can talk to me now. Just answer me. He was going to get better. He had the courage, but you took him away. So take me too, God. Take my life right now. I beg you. I fell to my knees. Despite my semblance of control, the plea unleashed more tears. Take me, please take me. I can't live without him. I can't go on. Please, God, take me to wherever he's gone. I don't care where. Just take me to him. I pounded the ground with my fists, daring and goading God to steal my life, to end a lifetime of pain once and for all. Then I collapsed on the cool grass. The sun was softer when I awoke an hour later. The sleep had renewed me. My mind was working clearly again. There would be no more pleas for death. I'm sorry, dear Lord, I prayed. Forgive me my weakness. Thank you for sparing my life. I don't know if I have the strength to go on, but I'll try. I must go to him, I thought, pulling myself up. I must go to Graceland. Filled with new purpose, I drove to the airport and bought a round-trip ticket to Memphis. I was on automatic, acting on each single impulse as it came to me. After liftoff, I looked out through the window at the darkening sky. I saw Elvis's face outlined in the clouds. I could almost hear his voice. Do the chairs in your parlor seem empty and bare? Do you gaze at your doorstep and picture me there? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Darling, dear, are you lonesome tonight? I love you, my Desiree. You were the only one. The plane has landed, ma'am, the stewardess said, gently shaking me from my trance. We're in Memphis. You're the only one left. All right, let me see what else we have. Okay, I'm going to read just a little bit more, and then I'm going to stop because we're getting pretty far. But I want to get through this part of her story. So she's going to Graceland. Graceland was a scene from a nightmare. Through the darkness, I could see what appeared to be tens of thousands of people. They were outside the gate, lining the streets, sitting on the curbs, lying in the grass. Some were trying to climb the stone wall and get into the complex. The taxi's headlights revealed brief but unforgettable images of twisted, grieving faces. Men and women were crying openly without shame. At first, the crowd comforted me. This outpouring of emotion showed more than anything else just how greatly he was loved. A giant wake for a man who touched 100 million hearts. Then the surrealism of the scene became too much. I was no different than any of the gruesome faces in the crowd. Probably worse. I had been crying off and on for more than 6 hours. My face was a swollen, distorted mask. And what was I doing here? I was on the outside, shut off from the inner sanctum of Elvis's world. Graceland was as unfamiliar to me as it was to the most casual fan. I knew nothing of Graceland, the fans, his fame. I was never part of that world. As always, I didn't fit in. I would have to suffer alone. Isn't that crazy? She was his true love, and she was on the outside of all this. And she should have been on the inside with his father and his grandmother and his cousins, his family. Not all the people, but all the ones that truly cared. Being there for him. And she was on the outside. Outside that wall with the mobs and mobs and mobs of people that we saw on TV that are in all the pictures. The tens of thousands of people. This is August 16th in Memphis. It is hot and humid as crap. Just like North Carolina. I went to visit in early August, and it was sticky and icky. You can just imagine how hot it was around with all those people surrounded. People were fainting. So what does she do? True Lucy form. I ordered the taxi driver to turn around and take me back to the airport. Oh, Lucy. Oh, Lucy. If you had stayed, you could have gone up and seen his body with all the fans. You wouldn't have been able to handle that. I think you would have fainted right then and there. You probably would have fainted before you got to the house. But if you made it to the house and saw him, you probably would have fainted. Maybe you would have fainted in his casket. Wouldn't that have told everyone? And all his family were sitting on the steps. Because I've heard the stories from everybody. Everybody. Billy, his cousin, and his wife, Jo. Jo was sitting on the steps. Going up the steps. When you walk in the front door, the steps are there. So they put Elvis's body. Somehow they did it where the people would walk in the front door and then turn around, like maybe they put like something in that entryway that they would walk up and turn around and kind of do a U-turn and go back out the door, back out the front door. And his casket was there, so they could walk up, and in that U-turn, that's when they would be able to see his body, and then they would walk back out the door and walk out. And they had a stream of people for hours. I think they were going to do it for 2 hours, but maybe they added another hour. Maybe they did it for 4 hours, added another hour. I know the line just kept coming, and Vernon wanted all the fans to be able to pay their respects because Elvis loved them. So they did that. And someone snuck in, some distant relative, when they walked in, was paid money to take a picture for the National Enquirer, and he did. So there's the picture out there. If you Google it, I might just put it on here on the text stream. But he took a picture. He hid it, and this was back in the 70s where it wasn't easy to do that. But he ended up getting a picture, and it is a true picture. He was dressed in white, a white suit with a light blue shirt. And when they did the autopsy, they had to cut him open. All the fluid drained out of his body. And they were able to cut everything out of his colon. And they sewed him back up to be buried, go in the casket. And all of the puffiness drained out of him. That's what they said. His family said that. When they saw him in the casket, he wasn't fat anymore, and all the puffiness had drained out. So when you see him in the casket, his face looks like the face of the 60s again, the late 60s, early 70s. And they did a good job. They did a good job on him. So anyway, she probably would just have lost it, maybe died right then and there, and just shown everybody. But yeah, so Jo, Billy's wife Jo, was sitting on the steps, and Priscilla was there, and Kathy Westmoreland, who was the soprano singer, that he loved her. They were very, very, very close. They bonded respectfully over horses. Their spirituality was on the same page. They were both family people. So she was there, and they asked her to sing at his service. She was there. And they were all sitting on the steps. If Lucy's shown up and fainted in the casket, oh my gosh. Anyway, so let's get back to that. But that did not happen. She missed out on it. So she goes back to the airport. I sat there for who knows how long, waiting for a standby flight back to Dallas. The trip to Memphis was symbolic of my whole life with Elvis. It was daylight when the jet touched down in Dallas. When I got home, I roused one of my daughters from bed, Jacqueline, I think, and we went to Mass. After the service, when everybody had left, I went up and lit a candle for Elvis. I was crying so much, Father Gale White came over and touched my shoulder. So, this is one of those things where if you talk to all these people, if he could have talked to all these people, to Father Gale on August 16th, did he go to Mass with her? August 17th, I guess it would have been the 17th. And she went to Mass, was she crying and he came out and asked her, It's like, yeah, for some reason that day she was crying like crazy. Or find that taxi cab driver or the airline person. Please don't cry, Lucy. Nothing can be so bad. There is nothing that we can't handle. We need grief so our heart will know what happiness is. If you only have sunshine, you never know how wonderful it truly is. He was being nice, but he couldn't know that I would never have sunshine in my life again. Later that day, there was a knock at the door. A young man handed me a single talisman rose. The enclosed card read, "All my love, till I return, El Lancelot." Wow. Oh my gosh. He had called and ordered a flower to be sent to her till I return. Wonder if he did it that morning. You know, based on autopsy things, he had been dead for a couple of hours. He probably died around, we're saying 10:30 that morning. He couldn't go to sleep. So he went to the bathroom to read. And he called one of his nurses, and he wanted to meet with her and have coffee that morning. He wanted her to come by. So he called her around 9 o'clock that morning. I wonder if he called and ordered that flower that morning. Or if he had called it in already and had it set it to be delivered on the 16th. Because he was planning to call her that afternoon. Oh my gosh. If I wasn't so numb, my mind probably would have snapped. I spent the next few days away from home, walking in the woods, driving, trying to recover. Remember, Desiree says she didn't see her mom for a couple of days. She walked in the woods a lot. I didn't want to read about it in the newspapers or see the stories on television. I just wanted to get away. Questions began to eat at me. Did he try to call me and tell me something? Why wasn't I there to help him? Why didn't anyone help him? Where was the girlfriend that was supposed to be watching him? And the biggest question of all, what would I tell Desiree? Could I tell her anything now? Her father was gone. I'd waited too long. Why did I wait? Why? I should have overlooked everything and told him. I should have let him decide what to do about it. I should have given him at least that. Now it was too late. Desiree would never be able to know him. The guilt was as tormenting as the grief. Can you imagine that also? The regret. Oh, that on top of the grief. So much. Man, she probably needed some meds to deal with that. The stories went on for months. I found myself drawn to them like a moth toward a bonfire. Speculations about how he died, where he died, why he died, what would happen now that he was dead, and on and on. There were some horrible stories about his drug addiction and personal habits. I nearly fainted when I saw a copy of the National Enquirer with the picture of Elvis in his coffin. I remember seeing that. I remember seeing it at the grocery store. Probably that Food Lion. That Food Lion over at Sky City. But I remember seeing it because I was drawn to this story. It was the first person that had died that drew me in. I remember the People magazine that came out, and the National Enquirer, which I knew National Enquirer wasn't to be believed. You know, those stories were crap, and they were all fake. And so that picture was like, I think that's real. They didn't do AI back then. And so it's like, who did that, you know? But the People magazine, I remember reading the People magazine and remembering reading that he was close to his mama and his grandmama. And he ate peanut butter and banana sandwiches like us. And he ate collards and he loved God. I thought, man, this guy is a true Southerner just like us. And I didn't know anyone that ate peanut butter and banana sandwiches like us. So I immediately was like bonded to him. But then, you know, life kind of got in the way. But then the bond started returning. When I was listening to Elvis radio, I started listening to Elvis radio a lot more. And I had it plugged in. His station was plugged in. And I was starting to really get into all his music again, especially the 50s. I was starting to really like the 50s music again. I mean, not again, but like in the 50s music. And then that movie came out. When I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is real. Was he really controlled by these people? And that's what started the deep dive. So here we are, reading about Lucy. So many rabbit holes. So this is what she's talking about. She nearly fainted when she saw a copy of the National Enquirer with a picture of Elvis in his coffin. All right, I got to focus. Find where I'm focused. I couldn't even imagine him dead, but there he was for all the world to see. Even in death, he had no privacy. Poor man. All these people now die and they're like, when I die, I'm going to see Elvis. I'm even that way. Well, when I die, I'm going to see God, Jesus, my daddy, my granny and my granddaddy, my cousins, my Mimi and my granddaddy, some aunts and uncles, and my mama probably there by then. And then I'm ready to see Elvis. Reunite me with all my family, but when at some point up there, I do want to meet Elvis. So all these fans. So I'm sure up in heaven, God's got it all. He has a plan for everybody. Here he was for all the world to see. Melody called in the midst of my mourning and began talking about her upcoming wedding. So now Melody's going to get married. She was getting married in Ontario in December. Remember, she lived in London, Ontario. So she's been in Canada, where they speak French up there, you know. She wanted me to design all the dresses for the bridesmaids and sing at the wedding. How was I going to get through all that? How could I get through anything? The reminders of my lost love were everywhere. I couldn't bear to look at Desiree, so I avoided her. I'm sorry, this is going to go over an hour, y'all. I'm sorry. But I'm going to get to the end of this part where that line is. And there may be some research that we'll do, but we're almost done. I gathered the strength to call Vernon Presley. He was distraught. We both cried as we spoke. Honey, Mr. Presley said, he was a gentleman, so honorable. I tried to protect him, but it was out of my control. I told him we had to be strong and that Elvis would want us to. Then I asked if Elvis was really planning to marry Ginger. She had given long interviews about their upcoming marriage. Mr. Presley said Elvis had told him he had no intention of marrying her. And Elvis told Lucy that he told his dad. And he told his cousin Billy, because Billy talks about that when you listen to him on his YouTube channel. People have asked him. He said, and Ginger has come back and said, well, Elvis proposed to me, and we even set a date that night that he died. And no one will ever know that, because it was just Elvis and Ginger. And he said he told her they set a date. And then he died. But he told his cousin, who he saw that night also, that he was never going to get married. And that this was going to be his best tour ever. And when he got back, he was going to go to Hawaii and take a year off and get well. That's what he told his cousin. And his cousin will go to the grave with that story. And his cousin is one I would truly believe, Billy. The Ginger, I don't know. Sometimes Elvis would tell people things just to keep them happy until he was ready to finally break it off. So I think maybe they set a date just to appease her. And then when he got back from the tour, he was going to cut it all off. But he told her they were going to get married at Christmas, on Christmas Day. Oh, my. But anyway, he told his dad. And now here his dad is telling her that he told her that he told him that. So that was the truth. Elvis just said Ginger reminded him of someone he used to know. That's all. Priscilla? No, he wouldn't have wanted to be reminded of her. So Elvis told him. And I think if people say that Ginger reminded them of, that he told them that she reminded him of his mother. But I think if she had reminded him of his mother, he would have told his dad. Because he would have said, Dad, do you see it? She reminds me of Mom, her eyes. Do you see it? And then they would have talked about it. But Vernon doesn't say that. He says right here, Elvis told me that she reminded him of someone that he used to know. So I think he told his dad that she reminds him of Lucy because her big round eyes. No, he wouldn't have, and he didn't want to be reminded of Priscilla. I asked Mr. Presley if he would find the scapular, the small sacred heart of Jesus that I had given Elvis, and send it to me. Elvis had told me the binding was torn, and I was going to fix it for him. Mr. Presley promised me he would look for it. He found it because it arrived in the mail the following week. He included a short note saying simply, I hope this is it. I held the fragile and ragged picture of Jesus to my bosom and cried. Melody's wedding was December 10th. She married an Englishman named John Taylor, who was a property developer. One of the songs she requested was The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Elvis told me once to listen to the words because he was singing it to me. I don't know how I made it. The audience mistook my tears as elation over my daughter's marriage. The wedding was beautiful, and it snowed all day. Snowbird. Afterward, the families gathered for dinner. Each member was supposed to speak. All I said was, I know now love can move mountains. I've seen it. The host said they were glad that I had come so far for the wedding, and they wanted to toast me with a special song from one of my favorite people. They then played a record of Elvis singing Memories. The choice was an appropriate one for the mother of the bride, and just a coincidence. But I, again, had to fight to maintain my composure. So they thought they had chosen it because her daughter was getting married. So it was like memories of your daughter. How little did they know that Elvis sang that, having memories of Lucy. I again had to fight to maintain my composure. As I listened, I realized Elvis would never die. Not for me, and not for anyone who loved him. I spent the next few months going through the motions of living, completely hollow. Sometimes, if I was busy, I'd go for an hour or so without thinking of him. That was the longest. His memory wouldn't fade, and neither did my grief. Desiree seemed to withdraw again. I tried to talk to her, to tell her, but just thinking about it choked me up. I was afraid of losing her too. All right, we'll let Desiree's research, the talk of the author with Desiree here, and then I'm going to finish up. When I was 19, so Elvis had died. When I was 19, I decided to send away for my birth certificate, Desiree says. I had never seen it. Whenever I needed it to start school or get my driver's license, Mother made me use my baptismal certificate. I didn't think they'd take it, but they always did. When I'd ask her for my birth certificate, she'd say she didn't have it. Remember, she had torn it up. Lucy had torn it up. She kept it in her Bible, and then she torn it up. One time she said it was in her Bible. I looked through practically every page and couldn't find it. So now, Tormented by all the unanswered questions about my father, I had decided to send for it. Remember when she was in Los Angeles, she decided to start going by her real name? That's when she sent for it. She found out. I didn't think I'd get it because you have to send in all this information on the mother and father, and I didn't know the names that would be on the certificate. I didn't even know what my name would be listed for. I put Desiree Presley for me and E.A. Presley for my father. To my surprise, it came. I was almost too scared to open it. When I did, my eyes went right to the father. That was the father section. That was another shock. It said my father was Randolph Presley. Who was he? And why had my mother's friend told me Elvis was my father? Then I noticed all the strange stuff on the certificate. It said my mother was born in Beaumont, Texas, and gave a different birth date for her. This confused me more. I knew I couldn't ask Mother about it because she would kill me if she thought I went behind her back. But I didn't ask her if I was born in Beaumont. But I did ask her if she was born in Beaumont. She just said, no, why? And laughed a little, like that was ridiculous. Like, no, why? I thought it would let her know that I'd seen the birth certificate, but she had no reaction because she probably didn't remember. She did it so many years ago, she probably didn't even remember that part. All she remembered was the name and names on it. This Randolph Presley began to really bother me. I asked my sisters if they had ever heard of him, and no one had. Melody told me to ask Mother. I couldn't. So I just worried and wondered about it for another year. Then I decided on a new strategy. I told my mother I needed my birth certificate for a passport and was going to order it. She said she'd do it for me.